why then are you suggesting that this Congress, under the leadership of Mallikarjun Kharge, veteran leader, and under no doubt the guidance, and that's a diplomatic way of putting it, of the Gandhi family, okay? Why would they want to be like Sitaram Kesari? Why would they want to be propping up a government of a third party minority prime minister? Why would they want to take India back to 97, 98? Why? Gyanendra ji.
No, I don't think that's the right way of looking at it. See, obviously the primary, the ambition and the purpose of the Congress party right now seems to be stopping the BJP from forming the next government in the 2024 elections. And I think every effort right now is being oriented towards that. And to do that, or to have a credible option to do that, it is important to call it in, very important and credible alliances, which is the India alliance today.
Okay.
Because otherwise there is no hope for.
So Gyanendra ji, for people watching the broadcast, on the mathematics of the country that has dominated political formations for the past 20 years, Gyanendra ji, what he is suggesting, and if the Congress is computing this, because they should be computing this, is perfectly correct. The BJP in the end had 40% vote share. Okay? So if you get your maths right, and if everybody else works together in perfect symphony and harmony, theoretically, mathematically, you should be able to do it even in the first past the post system, okay, where vote share is less fundamentally important, because a few percent can make the difference of 100 seats in the Lok Sabha. Okay?
Correct.
So Gyanendra ji is right on that mathematics, but is he right on the arc of history? Let me pick that thought process up with Himanshu Bhatt. Okay? Now Himanshu ji, of the, let's say, roughly 80 years of politics in India, okay, we are completing 75. So let's say roughly 80 years of politics in independent India, less than 20 have been spent under coalition governments. 60 years have been spent. So coalition governments are primarily the first Vajpayee administration, the two Manmohan Singh administrations, and then Deve Gowda and I.K. Gujral. So roughly 18, 19 years of the country has been spent under coalition governments. So there was an arc of history in the 90s that the regional parties' heft weight increased, and coalition governments was the only way to do it. But there seems to be something different. For the past 10 years, there has not been a coalition government in the center. The BJP has not required it, even though they have an NDA alliance.
Yes.
The Congress party has not required a coalition partner in Karnataka. They have not required H.D. Kumaraswamy. The Congress party has not required a coalition partner in Telangana. It just might be, Himanshu ji, that actually the arc of history is telling you that the regional parties are in decline and the national parties are making a comeback. And in fact, if the Congress actually abdicates too many seats to the regional parties, they will get wiped out even more, because the regional parties will get wiped out, because people now are looking back at national parties, which could have been the Congress if they simply had contested a few more seats.
Yes, I'll put it this way, Rishabh. Actually, Indian voter is matured, has matured over the years. They experimented with this coalition politics for 15, 20 years, but saw nothing lasting its full term. So Indian voter has matured out to understand that thing, that if you want a steady economic progress of the nation, you have to give power to any one of the political parties. They did so, and the results are being seen. And so they are sticking to that. That coalition era of 20 years, what we are talking about, started with the Janata Dal experiment initially, where you had people, getting out of Congress, becoming prime minister here in the other governments. But that experiment did not last. Then the other people who were basically opposite Congress coming to power, that experiment also did not last.
Okay, so Himanshu, but I'm going to rephrase the question, okay, because it's an interesting one, okay?
Yes.
When the rise of the regional parties was happening, and all of them came out of the Congress, okay? There were only two parties at formation of independence, the CPI and the Congress, okay? So when the rise of the regional parties was happening, the Congress first was on the wrong side of history. They didn't see it happening. Then when they caught on, they ran a government for 10 years. You can say slipshod, compromise government, this, that, but they ran a government for 10 years. So they caught on. Okay. Are they catching on to the trend that perhaps the return of national parties is back on the anvil, which is good news for them?
They don't seem to understand in the right perspective of it. See, the problem is basically what has happened with the Indian voter. I'll put it in black and white. What the way I understand is people have started believing that garnering a section of the voters and that bulk section will take them through. The experiments in states like Karnataka have propelled them so much that they want nobody else to be with them. I'll put it that way. When you don't want anyone else to be with you, what will happen is the opposition will benefit. Whereas here you have a nationalistic party on one side ruling the government is going on an all-inclusive
Okay.
format.
Okay.
Now here
okay.
people will say that, they are talking of communalism and this and that and all. But the fact remains facts.
Okay.
We have seen what's happening.
I'm trying to posit, yes, you can argue that, you can disagree with that, but I'm trying to posit a larger question. Deshratan Nigam, 80 years of politics in India, government formation, about 75 odd years in India, okay? About 18 or 19 have been spent under coalition governments. In the last 10 years, even though there has been an NDA government, the BJP has not required a coalition. They did well in 2014, even better in 2019, and they are hoping they at least match their numbers or do even better in 2024. But at this point of time, with what we've seen happen to the Shiv Sena, to the NCP, the future of the NCP is uncertain at this point of time. What we've seen happen to the TRS at the behest of the Congress, what we have seen happen to Mayawati, what we've seen happen to the TDP, are we reasonably to say that the Indian voter is more looking towards the big national parties, or are the regional parties still holding as much sway as they did about 20 years ago?
Well, Rishabh, in fact, in the absence of the other bloc, which is Indic bloc, where the only national party is the Congress, which is ultimately in decline and where they are losing grounds, then the relevance of the regional party still holds. And the reason being that we do require a constructive opposition, if not at the national level, let it be at the state level. And regional parties represent the diversity of India. With BJP, we have seen, even when they didn't require the support of the regional parties, they have taken along everybody in their alliance and made them a part of governance. With the Congress, if you look at on the other side, Congress gains at the expense of the regional parties, whereas the BJP I have seen even in UP, where they were backstabbed by BSP and other persons when their chance came to rule the state, as per the understanding. Therefore, what we have seen, BJP carries along the regional parties with them. They stick to the understanding or the agreement that they have had, and they will continue because they are an offshoot of the Sangha Parivar. And there, the diversity has to be taken into account. Yes, regional parties are holding also, like in West Bengal, as you said, or in case Stalin. Yes, some of them are holding.
I mean, Naveen Patnaik is probably the current example of how to do it. He seems to be untouchable from all sides, and he's pretty much focused. He's not doing what Nitish Kumar tried and playing these national games at all. He's focused on Odisha, but he's holding that forum right. More updates coming in. Jairam Ramesh has now come out and commented that this will not affect the India alliance, that the people of Bihar will give a right answer. I don't know whether it does or doesn't. I don't know how many votes Jairam Ramesh himself will win campaigning in Bihar if he were to choose it. Obviously, is unhappy news because the Congress is not the number one party in Bihar. It's the RJD, okay, and that's unhappy news. So let me then rephrase that question to Himanshu Bhatt. Himanshu ji, let's talk about the Congress, okay. Let's put aside whether it is the Gandhi family dynastic. I want to put it aside. Let's put that aside for a second, okay. Let's put it aside. let's just talk in pragmatic terms. In pragmatic terms, where the Congress has even lost to the BJP, okay, it has remained relevant. In Madhya Pradesh, you can't say the Congress is irrelevant. You can't say in Rajasthan they're irrelevant, okay. But in UP, you can say they are irrelevant, okay. In Bengal, they are becoming irrelevant, all right. So every time they go to number 3 and number 4, in Tamil Nadu, it's almost irrelevant, okay. MK Stalin doesn't have to worry about how many seats. He'll give them a token, couple, okay. But it's not a real fair negotiation because you're irrelevant. So for the Congress party to think about its future, they are losing relevancy to the BJP or really losing relevancy to all the people who left them and formed these parties?
They are basically losing the relevancy to their own people, those who left them. Because what's happening is, I'll give you 3 examples. One of Gujarat, their vote share was about 40%. It's come down to 26% this time.
And because of?
Because of third party, Aam Aadmi Party. Aam Aadmi have 14% of their vote. See, that's one example. The second example is, where they are relevant. As you said, in MP, they are still relevant because there is no entrant of third party. The moment the third party comes in, they will lose their relevance. What has happened to them in Delhi, let's say? In Delhi, what is the vote share that AAP is getting? See, BJP's vote share, if you look year upon year, it's almost steady. Maybe we are not talking of seats, but the vote share, amount of vote share when we talk of, this is what is seen happening. The Congress national vote share has come down in last 3 general elections progressively. The reason for that is Congress seats are also decreasing, but they are predominantly won by the third parties. You see what's happened in West Bengal. Mamata Di actually won away everything initially. But after that, if you see the results of 2019 elections, you will find BJP will getting 40% vote share with 18 seats. And that was the vote share basically of not BJP. BJP had nothing there. Mamata Di, similarly, 10 years ago had nothing there. But initially, Mamata Di took away everything that was of Congress.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that as we speak, ever since the Congress party slips from the number 2 position, it becomes finished, irrelevant, and is, at least in present history, has never been able to come back. Never. Okay. And so for the benefit, forget like the Gandhi dynasty, leadership, put that all aside. For the Congress party itself, okay, the realization that if we give up ground to our own offshoot parties, does that make it better for us or worse for us? It has an impact on the functioning of government. As you've seen, during coalition governments are more difficult to run, obviously. Okay. It has the impact of giving up on the Prime Minister's post, as they've done in the past, in the case of I.K. Gujral and Deva Gowda. And it has an impact on the electoral prospects. And I'm going to add the themology, even though all my participants disagree with it, I'm going to add the themology that let us not ignore the fact that the arc of large, long-standing democracies generally distills to limited number of political parties. India is different from all of them because of the sheer size, scope and diversity. So it's not an exact correlation because that would be unfair. So you can't say the UK only has 2 principal parties and 2 chotu parties. The UK's population is 60 million. Okay. In the US, again a very large country, but the population is 25% of India's. Okay. So it's unfair to call it, but generally there are fewer parties, not more parties. India saw a flurry of these and they reduced. Okay, quick on the ground update. Akshit, my reporter, has been tracking JP Nadda. Let's see what's happening. Akshit.
Speculation, which was quite rife, has come to an end today. The Bihar Chief Minister has tendered his resignation to the governor and is all set to form a coalition with the BJP. Well, this comes ahead of the 2024 mega elections, which are now just due in the next 2 to 3 months, and also a very big setback to the Congress, to the Rashtriya Janata Dal, and perhaps most importantly, the India Alliance, the Gathbandhan which they say they have formed to take on the BJP for the 2024 elections. Well, we come to you from the house of BJP National President JP Nadda, and he has just now left his house for the airport, as he's all set to board the flight to Patna, because the swearing-in ceremony is going to take...
Thank you. So he's on his way. JP Nadda, BJP president, on his way to Patna. He's left home. He catches a flight. He's going to address a press conference, I'm being told, in Patna, scheduled at 6:30. The swearing-in ceremony, 9 people being sworn in. Nitish Kumar as Chief Minister, 2 BJP, you have 2 Deputy Chief Ministers, and about 5 or 6 Cabinet Ministers. The Cabinet Ministers will, of course, gather at 5:30 for their first, I don't know how to call it first, but for this new government which resigned in the morning has reconstituted in the evening with a different party in tow. Nitish Kumar will be holding a new cabinet meeting at 5:30 p.m. It will be a formality meeting, let me call it this way. I need to take a very, very quick break. We have the rest of the day to have this conversation. We will have it. It's a fascinating one. But ladies and gentlemen, a tectonic event has happened. We are at the cusp of February. There are 2 months left for a national election in this country. The stakes are very, very high. And it's going to be a fascinating journey for the rest of us who get to watch along as the events unfold. My thanks to Ganindra Mishra, Himanshu Bhatt and Deshnatan Nigam. Take a break. See you in a minute.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.